Good afternoon, traders. It's 3:13 Thursday afternoon on the 22nd of March. So we're just going to take a quick look through some of the charts right now. Yesterday we had FOMC, and since then we've seen a sell-off in the US dollar. But more importantly, we've taken quite a chunk of profit out of the Canadian dollar and multiple Canadian pairs. So we're just going to show you a couple of charts of interest and why we were looking at the Canadian dollar, and then also another chart that is potentially going to set up a trade for well over 1,000 pips profit if you hold on to it for the long run. Okay, so Canadian dollar, things that we were looking at and why we were contemplating taking the Canadian dollar short, which we did from this zone here. Okay, so what we have, if you can see, you can highlight, we've got A, B, C, and the C is this point here, by the way, and then D. So this was something that we were forecasting, and you can see this grey box here. This is what I call the price reversal zone. So we were looking for price to come anywhere into this pricing point here, so in between, just below 131 and up to roughly 132, about 100 pip zone. We've got multiple reasons for looking at shorts, or that the market was going to come to a sticking point at this region. One we'll go back to was a fib. If we measure from A all the way up to X, it came back up into the 382. Now let's just show you exactly what we were looking at. So we'll excuse me, I'm on a laptop today. Beauty of being on your travels, but it's just making recording a slight bit more difficult. So you can see if we go all the way up to X, you can see the 382 comes into what is this red line here drawn in. So that's the 382. Now if we then look at measuring the A to B extension, so if we bring our M point up to here and we'll bring our X point back down to A for argument's sake, you can see that the 1.272 extension of A to B comes in at the red horizontal as well. So we've now got fib confluence at this point. Now, so we've got 382 and we've got our 1.272 of the A to B leg. We've got decompletion coming in there. So let's just zoom into this little move a little bit more. What else do we have at this point? Well, let's look at the last impulse move up from here. So if we look at the last daily impulse, you see we also have a 1.272 coming in at the same structure point of this impulse move here. So now we've got an A to B, ABCD pattern coming in at structure. We've got two 1.272 extensions. We've got a 38.2 retracement of the entire move. We also have a descending trend line, which if I zoom all the way back out, you'll see comes from right back here, early part of 2016, then retests again mid 2017, and then we get completion here. We also have coming into the top of an ascending channel trend line. So, and then we also have the big number 131 to 132. If you look left, you can see the red line also represents fantastic support and resistance level. The reason I say support and resistance is because you can see how price reacts from underneath when it's banging its head against resistance, and then when price is above, banging its feet on the floor. So we've got multiple reasons. Now, the also other thing that I've not mentioned here is we have a commitment of traders bias, meaning that the commercials were actively buying the Canadian dollar. So when we talk about actively buying, what they're saying is that the Canadian dollar in the futures market had got to a point of value of interest. So the commercials are actively buying Canadian dollars because it's got to a point where it's so cheap for them that they're buying bundles and bundles or billions and billions of futures contracts, because this is something that they can operate their business with for cheaper costs. Okay, so we then look at what price is doing, and price had a big momentum push up, and then we get these two candles through here. So you can see you get those two little dojis and then followed by the inside doji. So this was our cue to short Canadian dollar. So we've got multiple points of confluence that I've talked about. Now, what are we looking at in terms of getting back into this trade? Well, the market came down, tested our 129 level, which was this one through here. Great place to be taking early profits, also very handsome return. Now, what we're looking for? Well, in terms of this level that was very well respected back here, if we look at it just recently, what had happened, it had broken through, come back, broken through again, and come back. So more importantly, most recently, that level has been invalidated multiple times. So is it somewhere that I would like to trade from? Not really, but it's somewhere that I want to take profit because I've seen that it's been very interactive over here. In terms of taking and trading our next trading opportunity, what do I see available, or where do I see as interesting? Well, these two blue lines that I've drawn in here, these are what I will be looking for. So essentially what we're looking for is a head and shoulders pattern forming. So this is going to be an add-in trade. This will be our second position we're looking to trade. So this is what we're looking to take, something like that. So we'll be looking for price action, or we'll be trading with limit orders, all dependent on the type of trader that you are, and this will be the signals that we'll be giving out in our Lifestyle Traders Club, same as we did with this point here. Now, if we look at the technicals based on this, in theory, that is your head to neckline. So if we then move that, put that into there, we look left, we can see that the distance comes right back into structure. So let's just move, let's put a support level in through that point there, and you'll see we've got resistance becomes support, the distance of the head to the neckline comes back into support, and obviously the market isn't going to come down in a straight line, so it's going to come down somewhere at an angle like this, which is probably going to coincide with our structure point, which will be this ascending trend line. So if we go up to the weekly, you'll see this very, very clearly. So here we've got 1, 2, and then potentially the third. So this is what we'll be looking to short the US dollar, Canadian dollar, into support, at which point we'll be taking all our profits. We'll be looking for alternative trades, because from here it could easily bounce and come to the upside, or it could break and then retest and trade back to the short side. But this is essentially where we're looking to take our profits. So for trading opportunities elsewhere, what does this mean? Well, we're going to show you a couple of the other charts that we traded. One was CAD Swiss and CAD Yen. So this one, as you can see, market has broken down, it's come back up, we've had a double top, and now what we'll be looking for is a very similar thing. We'll be looking for the market, well, we're basically in that point now. We're looking for that inverted head and shoulders. We're back down at structure. First profits, though, we were looking for were up here. Essentially, we're only about 0.5% up now, and this was taken from an end of day trade, which if we come to the daily chart and then we zoom out, you'll see this structure point that we were looking at was from these lows here down to this point there, so that little zone, price came right into it, and we traded the daily candle, which was through here. We're seeing a little pullback now. I would expect to see the market come up here. Now, the downside that we do have here is the yen. Now, the yen is breaking through 105s. We've come through 105.50. Now, the yen, if let's just pull the yen up. We'll come to that in a second, because that's the other part of this equation. If the yen closes below, or dollar yen closes below this point here, then expect to see a lot further strength in the yen. Okay, and we could see the dollar yen tumble to about 101, 102. We'll just show you that right now. So if we look, here's our next major level of support, the ascending trend line, which we've broken out of. We were looking for a rally into 108.50s and then shorts into 101s. Now the question is, are we going to break out of this box range to the downside, or are we going to break out to the upside? The way the dollar's sold off, potentially it's looking like we're going to break to the downside. So if that's the case, then CAD yen's going to be a little bit tricky. It may still make decent money, but with it being at the bottom of a big range, the question is which one's going to strengthen faster. So you can see here's the big range from here up to this point here. Now if yen does break and it breaks harder, then we're probably going to come down and see these lows here. So this trade I'm going to be more aggressive with my stops. If that's the case, then I'll be looking for longs from this point here, from sort of 77s, at which point it just makes our return to the upside that much greater. So either way, we're still looking to take money on this trade. Final trade we're looking at was CAD Swiss. So you'll see this trade, let me see if I just change the, okay, so for some reason my analysis has been taken off, but this is what we were looking at, which is the weekly channel, like this. We saw price come into the support zone. If we look, you can see that we've got this area here. If we go down to the daily, what you'll see is price created a higher low. We bought on the break of the high. Our first targets, we were looking for the market to come up into 74.20, at which point we'll use this in theory double bottom to create an add-in trade. If we can break above this, creating a new high, we will then look to trade from this point, and then we'll be trading this all the way up to 7,900. So rather than going to the top of the channel, we'll look to take it to these highs here. And if that's the case, it'll be about a 600-700 point target on the initial trade, with a further 500 points on the second add-in trade if we can get an add-in from this point. So CAD Swiss is looking rather nice as well. We're still looking for that Canadian strength. Okay, so final chart we're going to focus on right now is pound Aussie. This one, we've got really nice trading opportunity here. We've already shorted it today from the top of the rising wedge, which was the H1. You can see here the rising wedge. We shorted this candle here. One of my traders actually shorted from 84, but we'll be looking at taking a little bit of profit out at this point here. But then what we're going to do is see if we can break out and retest, and we'll trade this down to 7,900. 7,900 we'll be looking to take this market long, and we'll show you why. So what we're seeing is false break to the upside, shorts down to 7,900, which is clear resistance, 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 resistance becomes support, and then we're going to trade that from 79. Let's go up to the weekly so you can see the clear levels. So if we go up to 79, first port of call is going to be, if you use the open of that weekly candle, it's going to be 9,500, and the open there is 20,400. So there's, just to this one here, there's 1,500 pips, and to this one here, there's about 2,400, there or thereabouts. So we've got some really good potential profits here on pound Aussie. So watch for this market. And that's it from us today. Sorry there wasn't any videos last week. But if you do like our analysis and you've enjoyed the content today, a simple way of letting us know will be very, very simple. And to do that, just click the like button, comment below, and more importantly, if you would like to share this information with any other fellow traders, and don't forget to hit subscribe. When you hit subscribe, every time we post a video, it'll come straight to your inbox, and there's no need to go searching for when we post up any content, so you can stay in the loop 24/7. Okay, traders, have a great afternoon, and hope your week's been as productive and profitable as ours. Bye-bye.